Pound Square Media Station.
One man to beat, you can forget about it. Touchdown, Alabama.
Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Alabama 1st and 10 on the 12. Again, Houston. He's got a hole. He's over. Alabama touchdown.
I'm just wondering if your listeners know how good a football player you were. I can still see you playing that fullback, knocking those players out of the way. And that, I believe I could have run behind you.
Martin, I can remember when we came to summer and you were playing fullback up there, and I saw you in the weight room and watched you work out in the weight room. If you were strong enough to pick up the whole weight room. I wanted to fix it, and our running back coach didn't take the biggest mistake we ever made.
The Martin Houston Show with national championship winning fullback Martin Houston, giving you 1 hour of intense, hard-hitting analysis from an insider's perspective. It's time for the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports, Tide 100.9, and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Good morning. Welcome into the Martin Houston Show, powered by MaXSports. It's a beautiful Wednesday morning. It's a Wildcard Wednesday. We want to remind you that this is a day that the Lord has made, so let's rejoice and be glad in it. Take some time today to notice someone, love someone, serve someone, be the difference you want to see in the world today. We're live, local, and ready to get things going. The Sound of Bama Sports, your show, your team, on this Wednesday edition. As we look inside the playbook, we got a great show lined up for you. I want to encourage you to get in on the conversation. From a wild card standpoint, is the SEC dominance over? I want to see more. What do you want to see more of from this Alabama football team? We'll look inside the playbook. We'll look at I think I'm going to give us a little rehash of last year's game against Texas A&M. I think Alabama folks remember how that game ended and don't really fully appreciate how that game was going. For a large part of the game, we remember the turnovers and all of that. And sometimes we don't really remember how the flow of the game went. So I'm going to try to help us feel better about how Milroe played and how the team played despite how the game ended. So stick with me through that and see if we can get that, make you feel a little bit better about that game last year. Maybe the game should not have been as close as it ended up being. So we'll look at a few things that way. I also we'll also look at, like I said, a couple keys to victory and things like that. But I do, we had a caller yesterday, I think it was Philip, that talked about the run by Justice Haynes, and how it reminded him of someone. And so I'm going to see if I can try to find that. I told him I'd try to find that play. You guys on radio will have to listen to this, but I told him I'd try to find a play. I think he was talking about, for those of you, it's a Wild Card Wednesday. So before we get into it, 1981, Alabama versus Auburn, fourth quarter, Alabama's up 21-17, and Alabama goes on like a 49-yard touchdown drive, and Lenny Patrick has a 47 of the 49 yards. But here's one of those that drive that or that run, maybe that run that what's the name we're talking about. and it's the old wishbone formation. So this is kind of a early look at Inside the Playbook flashback edition. Lenny Patrick topping off the wishbone as the H back, the left H back. Back when the H back was actually a halfback, not the tight end fullback version. But let's see what we got here, and then we'll get back to Texas A&M and Alabama.
That's Lenny Patrick. Can't hold him. Look out. What a tough, determined run by Lenny Patrick. You just don't see any better individual effort than Lenny Patrick, number 25, make on this play. It's the sweep play, which gives him a chance to use his ability. Two good blockers out in front of him. More number 26 is going to knock Gorman in there right there. And you can see Patrick is not giving up, keeping his feet going, cutting back against the grain. Comes close to scoring. Just a sensational run. Got 32 yards on the carry. Into the middle.
All right. So that was just a little bit of a flashback. There. In lieu of Phillip yesterday saying, hey, man, we have to get more Justice Haynes. And we weren't the only one. Phillip's not the only one saying that. There's several people saying, hey, man, we're going to have to figure out how to get him more touches. And that could very well be one of Alabama's keys to victory, X. But you probably never had you ever even heard of Lenny Patrick before yesterday?
So somebody has brought him up on the show before.
Probably
I heard
Phillip.
the name, and like I did like a quick Google search of like his stats and stuff. But as far as like ever watching a clip, that's the first clip I've ever seen of him.
Yeah, Lenny Patrick was a guy that had he been able to stay out of trouble, had some trouble off the field issues that really, really impacted him in a negative way. Could have been a really, really, he was special, but he just, couldn't get out of his own way, unfortunately. I'm going to show some clips X today and some highlights, but
hey, you want to answer Blind Squirrel's question real quick?
What was that?
He's saying during our athletic careers, did either of us ever talk to opposing players like Terrion Arnold does?
You can answer it first. It's a wild card whiz that we'll address that first. Go ahead.
I talked a little, but not much. And I played running back all the way through high school, but I also played a little bit of defense. And I talked more on defense than I did offense. Offense, I just wanted to hit you and run by you, but thought process.
Yeah, I was not much of a talker, and you can go back and kind of watch my film. I wasn't much of a talker in words. Blind Squirrel. What I did probably was probably worse. I smile all the time now. I had that same mindset on the field. And so if I hit you hard and I knew I rocked your world, I just smile. If you hit me hard, I would just smile and you would be thinking, I just rocked that guy's world and he's laughing at me. So mine was more of an intimidation through my actions probably and physicality than it was talking. I was not much of a talker. So Terrion Arnold, I told you guys I'd share a funny story with you about Terrion Arnold. We hosted a golf tournament this year, and Terrion Arnold and several of the other guys were part of the crew that we brought out to help Alabama One. We have an Alabama One Foundation, and we was raising money to support our activities we do in the communities we serve as Alabama One through our Alabama One Foundation. And they were talking smack, and he was talking smack about what they would do. And I said, man, y'all wouldn't know what to do with a fullback. and he was talking about what they'd do, and he was doing that smack talk. I said, "Let's go, baby," and I dropped down in a 3-point stance, and he thought about it, and then he rethought it, and all his boys just laughed at him because they like, that old dude just showed you up. So once again, I wasn't gonna talk. I was gonna say, hey, let's. I may not could take him for a whole game, but I think I could take him on one block. Just one-on-one. Me and Terry Arnold. Hey, we were gonna go one time, but it was pretty funny. I wish someone had been videotaping it because it was pretty funny. When I dropped in the 3-point stance, I think his eyes kind of got big. He's like, whoa, hey, now. But anyway, that's a fun story. Let's get to Alan on Lenny Patrick. Alan, you're in on the Alabama One hotline with Martin and Xavier. What's on your mind, sir?
First of all, Martin, when you played, you didn't have to do no talk because you had Derek Lassick and Sherman Williams. They did enough talk for everybody. and George, y'all, and George on the defense. So they, Antonio Langham over there, they did enough talk for everybody. So I already know you got to do talk. Just smile, I know them very well.
Yep.
Lenny Patrick, a lot of y'all don't know him, and he didn't get to play at Alabama that long because he stayed in the doghouse for various reasons with Coach Bryant. But I will go on record as saying that by far, to me, was the best running back Alabama ever had, hands down, bar none. Trophy. I don't care about the Heisman trophies Bama's got. Lenny Patrick was the most pure talent Alabama ever had, and he went far from y'all a little place called Jasper, Alabama.
Yeah, I've heard. You're not the only person. I've heard so many people say that there's two people that I've heard people say this about. If you take their freshman year and project what they would have done, and for different reasons, they both would be Alabama's best two running backs. Lenny Patrick, if you project, because he led the team in rushing as a freshman, despite being in trouble, would have been the best. And the other guy that is in that conversation, and I saw him, is Kerry Good.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I mean, before he got hurt toward his ligaments, man, that dude was and those two guys. Now I played with another guy that ended up playing fullback, y'all. He would have been special at the running back position, but he ended up being a really good fullback. Is Terrence Lynch as well. He lost a step. He lost a step with that ACL. So, but yeah, you're right. I've heard so many people say that about Lenny Patrick. And if I let that clip keep playing, that's what the announcers were saying too. They were like, man, this kid is special. He just can't get out of the doghouse with Coach Bryant. And that they were saying that he finally gotten back onto the field this year. So I don't know what all had gone on that year as well. But thanks, Alan. Appreciate you, man. Yeah. Coming back on the other side, we'll get Robert from Mobile in on the conversation. Hey, guys, I am going to reset this game because I don't think Alabama fans really realize that after the third turnover in the first half, what happened? If you know what happened after the third turnover by Jalen Milroe last year, call me up and tell me or post it on chat and then tell me what happened in the position we were in after the third turnover in the first half and then what happened next. We'll talk about it right here on the Martin Houston Show, powered by MaXSports.
This is Original Hemp Dispensary with Sonia behind the glass. Unmatched quality and service, and they're focused on helping you find the right product to fit your needs. They have the largest selection of CBD, hemp flower, Delta 8 products in West Alabama, plus those amazing Freedom Gummies everybody's talking about. That's Freedom CBD, Tuscaloosa's CBD store. located at 1110 15th Street, right next to Ion Apartments. Put it in your GPS so you don't get lost, and go say hi to Sonia. ST Bund Construction is hiring truck drivers and mechanics. You'll be home every night with competitive pay. They offer Blue Cross, Blue Shield, health and dental, 401k, paid holidays, vacation, and sick time. Just call Buck, 205-331-3551. Here's your West Alabama traffic from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. Good news, no active wreck. Bad news, lots of heavy traffic. McFarland, really heavy, all the way from Rice Mine Road over to 69. Lurleen, basically a parking lot northbound downtown across the bridge through Northport up to McFarland. If you see conditions folks need to hear about, please give me a call, 205-886-8886. Grab the instant savings of $2,000, $4,000, up to $8,000 on new in-stock vehicles at Townsend Nissan, your friends in the car business. And I'm Captain Ray.
You could win a Dodge Challenger RT or your share of $25,000 in free play and cash at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. The more you visit, the more chances you have to win. Play the latest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. You can be a winner too. Come win your share during the Challenger RT and $25,000 giveaway at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Drawings October 27th and 28th. Located off I-459, exit 31, Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older. Must be present to win. Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
This story is called The Ugly Truth About Timeshare. If you think you've done your family a favor by buying a timeshare, you need my help. Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, CEO and founder of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago, I started helping folks cancel their timeshare. And in the process, started what's now called the timeshare cancellation industry. Timeshare is the only thing that you can buy that you can't tell me how much it's going to cost or when it's going to end. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check to fill out any amount they want for annual maintenance and assessment fees. The crazy thing is, this never ends. Even when you die, your family's now going to be stuck with this burden. Stop the insanity today. Call my office now. If we take you as a client, I guarantee we'll cancel your timeshare or you'll pay nothing.
Call for your free information kit. 800-979-1177. 800-979-1177. 800-979-1177.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
Mostly sunny and warm today, the high at 85. Fair tonight, below 64. Tomorrow, partially sunny with a high at 84. Friday, occasionally cloudy, the chance of some scattered light rain during the day. Friday's high at 80. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 59 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
Welcome back to the Martin Houston Show, the sound of Bama sports. Your show, your team, on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier, powered by MaXSports. We're live, local, and got things rolling. Hey, guys, I'm going to reset last year's game because I think we don't realize just how close we came to kind of getting away from Texas A&M, and then something happened, and our coaches put the quarterback and the offense in the bag. But before we get to that conversation, we have a caller who called in and wanted to respond about Terrion Arnold. So Robert from Mobile, I want to give you a time. You're in with Martin and Xavier on the Alabama One hotline. What's on your mind, sir?
Hey, guys. The Terrion Arnold incident, situation, I thought he did handle it really, really well, especially after the interview afterwards. I mean, with the yesterday, I guess he had an interview yesterday.
You talking about Coach Saban getting on to him?
Yeah. Then, of course, the reporters asked him about it, and he was, really good with his answer. You never know when the cameras are rolling. You want to show yourself that you're coachable. And so that was great. He was right.
Yeah,
Any
absolutely.
idea why Nick Saban was getting on him? I don't know.
Do what now?
Do you know why Nick Saban was getting on to him, though? I never really found out.
Yes, there was a blitz, and had he timed out his blitz correctly, if I'm not mistaken, he would have came free.
Oh, okay.
And he was he was late on his blitz, and because he was late on his blitz, he didn't get there. I think that's what it was. So it didn't from our because when it happened, I'm like, what did Terrion do? He didn't do anything. So that's one of those great examples, Robert, where we as fans don't always we think we see something or don't see something, but sometimes things don't happen because of what a player didn't do versus what they did do. And the way he made it explain, he made it sound it was a timing issue. But I thought it was great that he said he saw he was upset. He said he saw he was upset, and he thought, "Ooh, somebody about to get it," you know.
That's funny.
Yeah. Hey.
Yeah, I think it was something minor that was just a teachable moment because he done something really bad. Nick said, "Well, don't get up." But it's something he wanted because they wanted him to keep their head in the game. He wants them to keep their head in the game.
Yeah.
So it's always something minor. They didn't really cost the team anything, and he used that as a teachable moment.
Yep.
So that's always the way we say.
Hey, did you see what he did later on in the game though, to make sure his head was in the game?
Yep, I saw the thumbs up. Whatever play he did. If I don't find something minor, he did there too.
He went back over to him, and that's what people don't get. He went back over to him and confirmed. At my work, we have my team. I have the growth team, and we do something called the Right Thing Award. And I challenge my team to nominate people in our organization that they find doing the right thing. And they say, why? I said, because everybody finds all of the negative. Everybody in our organization is probably being corrected for doing something wrong. But 9 times out of 10, the rest of their day, they're doing something right, but nobody's recognizing that. So you intentionally walk around and look and try to find somebody doing the right thing. So, and when you do that, nominate them so we can, reward them. So, that's part of what we try to do, and and I thought that was pretty cool that we saw Saban get all in his stuff, but then later on we see him and Terrion Arnold going, okay, we got this, we're good. I tell you a funny story, Robert, talking about that type of situation. Terrion handled it different than I did. Now, you may not remember this, but we're beating Tennessee 1992, 17-10. Remember, there's no overtime back then, right? And Coach Stallings calls my number on the sideline, tells them to give me the ball because I don't fumble. I go out and I get the ball and I'm running, and instead of just getting the yards, if y'all go back and watch this, it's near the end of the game, not much time left, and and man, I see an opportunity, and I'm like about to go, and I don't take the ball with me. Yeah. Huh?
Are you fumbled the handoff?
No. I'm in the field. I'm not even sure they tackled me, Robert, because I left the ball behind. I was a few yards down the field. Well,
he just dropped it. Huh?
Yes. I've never went back and looked at the play, so I'm not exactly sure how it happened. When we watched it on film, I put my head down. I still don't know exactly how I fumbled. It was the weirdest, Robert, it was the weirdest feeling because I had not fumbled in a long time. Like I had not lost a fumble. I think I lost a fumble like my second year at Alabama. And this is my my redshirt senior year. And I think I lost a fumble my redshirt sophomore year. So it felt really weird. It felt so weird.
That's that's Gene Stallings' fault, though. He gave you the curse of the compliment. I have to manage quality at my job, and usually I have, I'm always telling people bad things. We this wrong, that's wrong, that's wrong. And you like to every now and then, like you said, compliment you when things are going right. Without they call it the curse of the compliment.
Hey, don't ever talk about a guy like every time they say somebody hasn't missed a kick in forever, they missed that kick. That's why I'm convinced that I'm convinced that the commentators aren't live, because they'll say this guy has made 25 kicks in a row and then he misses. But anyway, back to the point behind that, Robert, is I'm walking off the field and I see Coach Stallings, and he is like giving that Coach Stallings skull, and I walk like 30 yards the other direction. I mean, like so when I get to the sideline, Coach Kirksey saw me and he followed me. He said, "Where are you going?" I said, "I'm getting away from him." But anyway, fortunately,
you guys won anyway, right?
Huh? Yeah. Chris Dunley intercepts the pass. I think it was Shula. Shula who threw a pick that drive, and we won the game. And of course, we went on to win the national title. But yeah, man, you talking about sweating, boy. that was a rough time. But he did a little better job. Well, he didn't know. I knew that Coach Stallings was looking at me. He didn't know Coach Saban was coming for him. So I avoided the conflict by I hit the flight mode instead of the fight mode. Anyway, thanks, Robert. Appreciate you, man.
All right, guys.
All right. Anyway, fun times. C.J. Watson saying he didn't realize that play happened against Tennessee. That was definitely against Tennessee when I ran from Coach Stallings. Saved the day. But thanks to Chris Dunley. I still love Chris Dunley to this day. I hugged him on the field then, and if I saw him right now, I'd give him another big hug, X. But hey, listen, here's as we get ready to go to break here, I want to play this play because everybody talks about the three turnovers, Xavier. It was 14-14 at this point in the game about what I'm about to play here. It was 14-14, and there's an exchange that happens here that everybody forgets. And we talked about earlier this year that this quarterback, when he makes a mistake, how he handles himself. Let's listen to what happens. It's 1:21 to go in the first half. It's 14-14. And Alabama has the ball. It's a 3rd and 12. By the way, 3rd and 12 on Alabama's 20, on their own 20, when he throws this pick. Let's see what happens right here to end the first half.
To the left of Milroe. Looks that way. Gonna go deep. And into coverage and intercepted. So another turnover. Gilbert with a pick off in the secondary. King has to throw in a hurry, and it's intercepted. And it's Terry and Arnold's got it back for the tie.
Chris Braswell, number 41, comes off the edge. King felt him the whole way.
Reichard's kick on the way. Perfect. 10.
I want you to hear. Did you hear what just happened right there? X, as we go to break, I want you to think about what happened. With 1:21 to go, we had 3rd and 12 from our own 20. With 17 seconds to go, we were lining up to kick a field goal to take the lead at half. We'll talk about that and what else happened in that game on the other side.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Let me tell you about my friends at Freedom CBD. They're Tuscaloosa's original hemp dispensary with Sonia behind the glass. Unmatched quality and service, and they're focused on helping you find the right product to fit your needs. They have the largest selection of CBD, hemp flower, Delta 8 products in West Alabama, plus those amazing Freedom gummies everybody's talking about. That's Freedom CBD, Tuscaloosa's CBD store. located at 1110 15th Street, right next to Ion Apartments. Put it in your GPS so you don't get lost, and go say hi to Sonia. ST Bund Construction is hiring truck drivers and mechanics. You'll be home every night with competitive pay. They offer Blue Cross, Blue Shield, health and dental, 401k, paid holidays, vacation, and sick time. Just call Buck, 205-331-3551. Here's your West Alabama traffic from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. Good news, no active wreck. Bad news, lots of heavy traffic. McFarland, really heavy, all the way from Rice Mine Road over to 69 Lurleen. Basically a parking lot northbound downtown across the bridge through Northport up to McFarland. If you see conditions folks need to hear about, please give me a call, 205-886-8886. Grab the instant savings of $2,000, $4,000, up to $8,000 on new in-stock vehicles at Townsend Nissan, your friends in the car business. And I'm Captain Ray.
Tide 100.9 and Local Bank are proud to present Hometown Heroes. Each month, we'll take nominations for local heroes from law enforcement, firefighters, educators, and medical professionals. Our Hometown Heroes will be featured on the Tide 100.9 website. Log online to Tide109.com and nominate a Hometown Hero today. Winners will receive lunch at Texas Roadhouse. Local Bank is a proud sponsor of Hometown Heroes. Local Bank puts customers first. Local people, local decisions. Local Bank, 1635 McFarland Boulevard, Tuscaloosa, and online at mylocal.bank.
Need a place to watch the Crimson Tide roll? Come to Walk-On's Sports Bistro on Skyland. Meet 95.2 The Bear and 100.9 Tide's post-game personalities talk sports. Their 2-hour post-game show begins after the Crimson Tide Broadcast Network signs off. They have a huge dining room with lots of comfortable seating. 64 big screen TVs positioned so every seat can see the game. 42 flavors of draft beer in 22-ounce tumblers, plus a variety of delicious food and desserts. Walk-On Sports Bistro of Tuscaloosa, where the action is.
What's for dinner? Burgers?
After last week, no thanks.
Avoiding foods due to fear of diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools? It may not be just stomach issues. It could be EPI, or exocrine pancreatic insufficiency. EPI can cause uncomfortable symptoms because it's a condition where the pancreas doesn't release enough digestive enzymes to break down food. But EPI can be managed. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor about your symptoms. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Babbel. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at babbel.com/TNC.
What's holding you back from learning the language you've always wanted to know?
Too hard.
Takes too long.
Not with Babbel. Babbel's lessons take just 15 minutes a day, and they're fun. So you don't realize you're learning a language, but you are. In 3 weeks, you're able to start having conversations.
And with Babbel, it isn't hard.
It's perfect.
And now try Babbel free. Text radio to 64,000. Text radio to 64,000.
It's time for the Martin Houston Show. With the same hard-hitting, no-nonsense approach in which he played the game, Martin will take you inside the locker room, down on the field, and across the goal line with his in-depth analysis.
Trips to the left of Milroe. Looks that way. Gonna go deep. And into coverage and intercepted. So another turnover. Gilbert with a pick off in the secondary. King has to throw in a hurry, and it's intercepted. And it's Terry and Arnold's got it back for the Tide.
Chris Braswell, number 41, comes off the edge. King felt him the whole way.
Reichard's kick on the way. Perfect.
And that was a few play series right there where Alabama had a 3rd and 12 X, threw a pick, got a pick, got a kick, all within a minute and 21 seconds, or actually a minute and about 4 seconds, and went in at halftime up 17-14. React to that.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at that 3rd and 12 play with the 121 left, at ball around the 20, gets intercepted at the 34. That's 40-yard field flip, equivalent of a James Burnett punt last year. Turn around, Terrion Arnold or Chris Braswell gets pressure, close to field goal range, you end up kicking a field goal. So you never want to have a turnover, but if you're going to have a turnover, you want it to be on 3rd down. You want to flip the field, and that's essentially what happened with that play. And because of that flip, plus the turnover, we were able to take the lead going into that.
Yeah, but that speaks to what he does. I mean, did we need the defensive help? Yes, we did. That's team football. And then he came out and the team went down and got a field goal. So at that point, Alabama is up. At that point, Alabama is up X 17-14. All right. Alabama's up 17-14. So why do we go in the tank at that point is what I want to know. Is why do we go in the tank at that point?
We came out.
Go ahead.
We came out the second half. We get the touchdown on that first drive to Ja'Cory Brooks, making it 24-14, and they shut the offense down.
Yeah.
And part of that is Coach Saban believed in his defense, but that's what also made the game scary at the end, because once you shut it down, it is hard to ramp it back up.
Yeah, I want, let me see if I can find, because I think that's important that we listen, and courtesy of CBS Sports, those prior clips and this clip, as you're talking about, listen to this drive right here. That's and if I go back a couple more plays, you hear several things that he did in that drive to get Alabama in position. I mean, the guy came out in the second half and picked up right where he left off. Field goal to end the first half, boom, and then came right back, X, and took care of business. Came right back out, took his team down the field, and as a matter of fact, I think I actually have a couple of those plays from that. Here's how, and this is what I want us to understand about Jalen Monroe. He had a horrible first half, but we came back out in the second half and we let him play.
Gibbs all the way out to midfield and then some. So 3rd down and 6. Aggies bring up everybody close. They're going to bring it on Milroe. And he got it complete on the fly to Brooks. And he'll score. Touchdown, Alabama.
Let's get some more of that. Let's just get some more of that, X. Is trust this kid to play. And that's what I want to see, because I think that Alabama did him wrong last year, and I think they're doing him wrong this year. I don't know that there's ever been a quarterback that I have seen as hamstrung as Jalen Monroe. I really don't. I look at his play against Arkansas last year, and against Arkansas, what happened? They didn't have time to coach him down. You know what I mean? They didn't have a choice. It was like, son, go in and play. Right? Then they had a whole week to get him ready. Boom, boom, boom. And then you look at this year. When the play goes off script, what happens?
We need to talk about that week.
No, I'm saying.
I think it's important to talk about that week last year that they had to get him ready. They chose to hope Bryce was going to be ready and didn't get him ready, and then tried to run a Bryce Young style game plan for him. And that's not going to work for his skill set and what he does best. And we saw that. We saw a guy that got thrown out in the fire, underprepared, and it cost us.
But we keep saying it cost us. Xavier, we keep saying it cost us. Watch this. I know what you mean.
It cost us in his development.
No, I know what you're saying. I'm not disagreeing with you. We keep saying it cost us. But at this point in the game, what I just played with in the third quarter, with 42 seconds to go, we're up 24-7. Now, we had a prior drive where we had a third down, and they called a pass play, right? And he got sacked.
Mm-hmm.
And our Mr. Reliable kicker, it was a tougher field goal. It was a tougher field goal, right? But it was a very makeable field goal for Reichert. But everybody forgets that was in the middle of Reichert's struggle. Remember, he went on to miss kicks in that game and against Tennessee, right? He missed a field. So we would have been up 27-17. And from that point on, we thought we had enough to win the game. But we came out and we had 3 drives in that second half that could have resulted in points, and we didn't complete them. And that's with a quarterback that we all feel did not get prepared, right? Well, what did we do all offseason?
Yeah.
What did we do this entire offseason? What's the difference between the offense we're running now and Bryce Young's offense? Nothing other than the RPO. So we spent all offseason once again the same way we spent the week of the Texas A&M game. I don't see a offense right now built any more around his skill set than I saw the Texas A&M game built around his skill set. That's why I said this guy has been, to me, more than anybody, at least with some of Jalen Hurts came in with Lane Kiffin, and at least he had a coordinator who was creative and thinking out of the box and doing some things to help him. I don't see them doing anything that now is Milroe playing better? Yes, he's playing better. But I think you could take the top off of this guy. Don't put a lid on him. And I think if we're gonna win, we're gonna have to take the lid off. We're gonna have to take the lid off if we're going to have it. There is one other thing, X. I want to get the break here. There's something I want to show on Texas A&M's first touchdown. I want to go inside the playbook on the before we get Scotty Hollins on. I just want to do that on the other side. And it's something that everybody knows. It's why people score on us consistently in the red zone. It's how we play inside the red zone. It's a 4-on-3 concept, and it makes if you know how to do it, you can get guys open. I'll talk about it on the other side.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
From the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, no active wrecks. Things look pretty good on the roadways as we start our Wednesday morning. Now, if you do see conditions, of course, please give me a call, 205-886-8886. Grab the instant savings of $2,000, $4,000, up to $8,000 on new in-stock vehicles at Townsend Nissan, your friends in the car business. And I'm Captain Ray.
Here's what's trending on the Tuscaloosa thread.
Good Wednesday morning. Tuscaloosa Mayor Walton Maddox is quick to defend city staff and leaders Tuesday in the wake of a lawsuit filed last month by the state of Alabama that seeks to punish the city for 5 years of issues in the wastewater system. Maddox blasted media coverage saying what gets lost is 99.9% of the sewage that enters the city's system gets treated. Click TuscaloosaThread.com for more local news, sports, and weather coverage. It's free. Don Hartley, Town Square Media, Tuscaloosa.
Go inside the Alabama Crimson Tide with the Gary Harris Show.
Hey, everybody, it's Gary Harris coming up Wednesday morning at 9 a.m. on the Gary Harris Show. We've got Matt Coulter on NASCAR recapping the Yellowwood 500 at Talladega. Also, our free legal advice segment from Paul Patterson of Patterson Cover Law Firm. And we'll also have the Bama football recruiting report. All that coming up at 9 a.m.
Catch the Gary Harris Show Monday through Friday, 9 to 11 a.m. on Tide 100.9 and Tide100.9.com.
All of the West Alabama high school football scores every Friday night all season long on Tide 100.9. High school score updates brought to you by 4th District Congressman Robert Adderholt.
The game of football is about pain. Ever since I was 5 years old, it's been all about football. It's been about running, jumping, blocking, tackling. I stopped playing at 31.
You're listening to Michael Robinson, retired pro fullback.
I thought that foot pain was going to be with me for the rest of my life. I'm so glad I met good feet. I'm so glad those arch supports are in my shoes.
Come see us at 1800 McFarland Boulevard or at goodfeet.com.
The sound of Bama sports. Your show, your team. The Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show. And for those of you who are listening, tuned in on Facebook, you can see the actual video clip. But for those of you who are listening on the radio airwaves, let me explain to you. Texas A&M is scrimmaging from the 5-yard line. They're in the red zone. It's 2nd and goal. They come out in a trips left at 3 receivers to the quarterback's left. 1 receiver split up top to the right. They have 1 running back in the backfield. And Alabama's defense is what they do, Xavier, in this situation is they do a 4-on-3. They do a 4-on-3. So they have 4 guys to cover 3. But if you run your route tree correctly, you can create a mismatch. What's going to happen here is with the way they run their routes, the outside receiver, the bottom receiver on the left is going to pull the bottom corner, and whoever that primary is, most likely going to be Kool-Aid or Arnold, based on which side the trips is to. Then you're going to have the second corner, probably the star, who is going to be on that receiver. That guy's going to help bracket that outside receiver. Then you're going to have the third guy, which is going to be a safety, most likely is going to be on the second receiver. That leaves the linebacker on the slot receiver. That leaves the linebacker on the slot receiver. And in this case, Deontay Lawson has to cover the run game in case there's a quarterback draw or quarterback run or some type of run to the running back. And he has inside leverage on that inside receiver, the slot receiver. So if the receiver runs an outside route, Deontay is already at a huge advantage because he's on that guy's hip. There's virtually no way for him to cover this guy in a 5-yard out route because of how far he has to cover. And if you watch this play, for those of you especially who are looking on video, you'll see this play out plain as day.
On 2nd and goal. Fires, touchdown, Aggies, and it's Moose Muhammad.
Now, even in the situation where where Deontay had perfect coverage there. He had perfect coverage, except for the guy ran an out route. He had the back shoulder. He had him cut off if he came to the outside. But on that 5-yard out, he had no chance. So, but teams know that about that 4-on-3 that we do in the red zone. So if they get to the red zone and we still run that same type of 4-on-3 and they're able to create that route tree there and we don't adjust. But the thing about it is, if we adjust Deontay outside, what happens? They're going to run it right back in the inside.
So he be sneaky.
Or are they going to hand it to the running back? Right.
Draw.
They're going to run it right to that.
Yeah, running back.
They're going to hand it right to the running back coming to where Deontay vacated. So I don't know why we don't just go man up right there. It seems like it'd be a great place to man up and trust. I'd rather trust Kool-Aid McKinstry one-on-one against that outside receiver than Deontay against the slot receiver. But that's just one of the things that I've seen that Alabama does. Hey, now it's time for us to transition to Scotty Hollins, Executive Director, Blueprint Ministries. At this time, X, if I know you have to get out of here sometime, so if you need to go, we'll catch up with you on tomorrow. We'll have Max recruiting with you. But now it's time for us to bring in Scotty Hollins, Executive Director of Blueprint Ministries. Welcome into the program, Scotty. How you doing, sir?
Hey, Martin, I'm doing fantastic, and I want to continue our series on strength for the storm. All right.
All right.
And I want to just continue to just talk about how do you find strength for the storm, and where do you get that strength from? We've looked at Paul. Man, he almost seemed like a superhero, almost seemed superhuman. Like how does he get that strength, and how did he go through all that he went through and accomplish all that he accomplished? Again, considering all that he went through. Your brother wrote 13 New Testament books, or he gets credit for writing 13. Word out is maybe he wrote Hebrews, which would have given him 14. But I think God didn't want anybody to get credit for writing over half the New Testament, so he made him forget to put his little signature on the end of that one and at the beginning. But either way, here's the point. Paul went through so much, and obviously he had amazing strength through the storm, because here's how we know. Look at what he accomplished. And he gives us, even more than what he accomplished, he gives us his secret. He says, this is a secret that not a secret that no one else can know, but a secret that most people haven't figured out. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, right? And so we see that. But I want to look at a different verse today. And today what we'll do is we'll kind of introduce this verse. And I think this gives us kind of some insight into what Paul meant. He says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Last week we looked at what he did. You know, he prayed and he preached. He prayed every time he felt anxious. He prayed. He says, don't worry about anything, pray about everything. But then he says, and then whatever's good, lovely, pure, noble, think on those things. That was kind of preaching the truth to himself. So he didn't allow those negative thoughts to just roll over in his mind and feed him and fuel him. He didn't allow those negative thoughts and negative even just fixating on the circumstances or fixating on the people that may be causing the issues. He didn't allow those things to fuel him, but he allowed God's promises to fuel him. He allowed God, praying to God and trusting in him. He allowed that to fuel him. And so that's how he had this amazing strength. That's how he was able to accomplish so much. And most importantly, and I want to say this, so I'm talking about what he accomplished, but in Philippians chapter 3, he puts that even in perspective. He says, man, of all the things you guys attribute to me as good, great, amazing, all the accomplishments that I have, everything that you would credit to me as, man, that's a dude right there. That's him, as they say these days, Martin. Yeah. He's him. All the things that we would attribute to Paul relative to his accomplishments and would, say, hey, he is the guy. He says, I consider that stuff trash compared to knowing Christ. You follow me? So here's my point. And I, as I keep talking, I realize I won't get into the verse that I wanted to get in today. But what I will do is I'll share it with you. But I just want to make sure we understand that we can have strength in the storm. We can do more than survive difficult circumstances. We can thrive in the midst of them. Okay, and it's not easy, but it is possible. And I think Paul nailed it. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Well, the verse that I will introduce and won't go very deep into, we'll look at it a little bit more next week, is I think another verse that gives us insight into that, because we have heard that God will never put more on you than you can bear. And obviously, you think about 1 Corinthians 10:13, you think about what that says. But when you really think about, that statement, God will never put more on you than you can bear. I want us to think about that more. And as we look at this passage, Matthew 11:28 through 30, because a lot of times we think, I'll be honest, Martin, sometimes I go through stuff and I'm like, hey, Lord, I thought you said you never put more on me than I can bear. I'm like, this is heavy. This is, I don't know if my bench press max is 350, I feel like this is 450. You know what I mean? I can't push this. I can't do anything with it. And so I feel like sometimes circumstances come our way. But I think this passage that we're going to look at today, again, that I'll introduce today, we'll go a little bit deeper into next week. I think this gives us insight into just a better understanding of that idea of he'll never put more on us than we can bear. He says, listen, Matthew 11:28 through 30, he says, come to me, all you who are weary and burdened. Then he says, and I'll give you rest. Okay. He said, take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I'm gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. Then he says, for my yoke is easy and my burden is what?
Light.
Is light. Okay. So when we think about, God will never put more on us than we can bear, I think we need to think about that differently. We have two passages that really give us insights relative to burdens. One is Jesus says, come to me, and I'm going to break that down a little bit more next week. The other one is he says that we should bear one another's burden, right?
Right.
And so I think as we think about some of these, heavy weights that we're carrying, difficult challenges that we're facing, I think that he's saying, look, what did Paul say? I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And in this passage, he says, come to me if you're weary and burdened. And then the point is he's saying he's going to help us carry this weight, right? And so I think sometimes the weight is meant to get us more proximate, to get us closer to him. And as we get close to him, and we'll look into some more details next week, what can happen there. Martin, I know you want to jump in.
Yeah, I got to get ready to get out of here really quick. Scotty, can't wait to get into that. I will say that been blessed to recently just released my book on Sunday called The Encouragement Factor. And I always think, a lot of times people don't think about encouragement as putting strength in. To me, courage, when you get courage, that means that you're strong enough to take the fight. And encourage means to put courage in someone. And to me, all of those scriptures that you were reading, I read them in advance of the fight so that courage is in me to go through the fight. In other words, I'm strengthened to go through the fight. So definitely cool. Tell them where they can find you. I can't wait to dig into this a little bit more.
Absolutely. You go to www.blueprinttuscaloosa.com. You can send me a message there. It comes straight to me.
Hey, that's Scotty Hollins, Executive Director, Blueprint Ministries. Joins us every Wednesday for the Harvest Church Christian Moment of the Week. Thanks, Scotty. We'll catch up with you next week.
Thank you.
All right. Hey, guys, I do want to encourage you. Go to Amazon.com, type in Martin Houston, the encouragement factor. Give me one more inch. If you want to learn how to be a better encourager and how to put strength into people, encourage people to give just a little bit more. It's a book that will help you to do that. It has great practical tips as well as laden with scriptures to encourage you. It's the encouragement factor. Give me one more inch. I'm Martin Houston. That was Xavier Houston. That was Scotty Hollins, Noah Haynes. Thanks to all the caller, listeners, viewers, and chatters for being a part of the show. We'll be back tomorrow as we look at recruiting. We'll look at want to see more. We'll also take a jaunt around the SEC right here on the Martin Houston Show, powered by MaXSports. Remember this, trust in the Lord always. Lean not your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your path. Roll Tide out there, everybody.
It's a celebration. Celebrate good times. Come on.
Thank you for listening to the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.